Hey, I'm James David Smith from RC4 Wireless, and here at LDI 2015 I'm showing a new piece for our RC4 Magic Wireless dimming system. It looks a lot like the other devices that we make, but this is a 1000 pixel string controller. It's a really easy way for you to put pixel effects like we see running on the back wall into pretty much anything you might envision needing pixels for in patterning. The challenge that we've addressed here, there are three of them actually, and the first one is that pixel drivers consume vast numbers of DMX channels to control. And this is a problem if you're using a small console, older technology, or you're just limited in some way in your ability to control the thousands of channels you might need to do something like I've got running here. So what we've done is we've created a system of pattern building where the driver itself does the job of replicating the pattern down the string. So you create what I call a keyframe, what some people prefer to call a fixture, where you choose the length it will be in pixels, and you configure your console to make a pattern that you like within that space. So you might decide you only want to do a pattern that is 16 pixels long, and then have that repeat and ripple down the string. Or you might decide that you want to do something that's 256 pixels long, or any number all the way from 1 to 512. Then, in the driver, you tell it to do, for instance, just mimic all the way through, beginning to end, or you might tell it to do a mirroring effect, beginning to end to beginning, beginning to end. You could do those things backwards, so actually the first rendering of it is in reverse. And some of these things are interesting ways to create symmetry with multiple strings running simultaneously but controlled from the same data. So for instance, you could put two strings side by side that are running from the same pattern, but one starts at the beginning and the other starts from the end. And you automatically get a very attractive symmetry that is like we expect pixel strings to do in effects, but we haven't used another set of channels to create that symmetricality. So I have on the wall some examples. On the top two strings, we're running in the traditional manner that pixel strings would be run. So that is a one-to-one mapping. A string of 170 pixels consumes an entire universe. So in those top two rows, we've used 1024 channels. The way we could minimize that is an example of the pattern there that's coming in from left to right. I could reduce this to be only 256 pixels of data and then tell the driver to mirror image it to the other half of the string. Right at that moment, we would see exactly the same effect and be consuming only half a universe instead of an entire universe. Now getting into smaller patterns, we look at these lower four strings. All of those combined are running on a total of only 130 DMX channels. So barely more than a quarter of the universe is creating four considerably different patterns. And I have on my console some different patterns that I can bring up for these to show that I have actually a lot of live, from my console, flexibility to change what the pixel strings are doing. Here's another example that I like to show. Just release all of those. Here we have a simple red streamer effect. And as I already described, the top two strings are running in the traditional manner. So I'm using 1024 pixels to do that. 1024 channels. The second from the bottom is creating an effect that looks exactly the same, and it's running simultaneously. It's using 21 pixels of data. So I could do that many, many times over within just a fraction of a universe. So this is a really good example of how we've actually provided a form of data compression, where you still have all of the creative ability, but we're not burning through literally tens of thousands of dollars of technology to come up with the channels. This little box that does 1000 pixels is only $399 with the radio built in, and it does every kind of pixel string currently on the market. So you can find the string that you like, and we can control it for you. So for more information about it and a lot of other interesting features that are in there besides just the one I've described today, visit theaterwireless.com and have a look at what we've got there.